Women's gymnastics, team and all-around competition. Hi again, everyone. I'm Andrea Joyce. We've got a special treat in store for you today, a peek into the future, a look at some of the extraordinary young talent that could make up Olympic teams of the future. And who better to assess that talent than 1984 Olympic gold medalist Julianne McNamara. Julianne, we've had some untimely injuries here in Boulder.
Well, Andrea, talk about bad luck. Christy Powell, one of the favorites here, had a really freak injury during the warm-up. She tripped over a mat, injured her left knee, and had to pull out of competition. Another one of the favorites, Carrie Strug, a 1992 Olympic bronze medalist, was also worried an ankle injury would prevent her from competing in the competition. I spoke to her a few minutes ago. She says her ankle feels all right, and she will compete in all 4 events.
Now, Julianne, what about the young talent here, the 12 and the 13-year-olds?
Well, it's great because we have 6 of the top juniors in the nation here, including Gail Couture and Alexis Brion. They finished 1-2 in the Pan American trials. They want to do well here, but they have their sights set on Australia in the year 2000.
And we'll be watching for them. Here are the rules for the women. There are 6 gymnasts on each of the 4 teams. The top 5 scores count, and the athletes are assigned to teams to create competitive balance and may not reflect hometown geography. Here are the women's events. The South team will start on the vault. The West team on the balance beam. The East will start on the uneven bars. And the North team will be on the floor. And we are Brink competing for the South team on vault.
And watch this. She adds a 1.5 twist to Yurchenko vault.
This is Brink's best event. She says that she has a gift of power. Is that powerful, Julianne?
And she is a powerful gymnast. Watch the repulsion. She gets off the horse, good distance, good height, and just a little bobble on the landing.
A 9.775 for Heather Brink, an impressive start for the 17-year-old. Now over to Jamie Dancher's floor routine already underway. We should point out that there are 4 events going on simultaneously.
That was a 1.5 twisting flip right into a laid-out backflip.
Julianne, what are the judges looking for here?
Well, floor is an event where they're obviously looking for the required elements, difficulty, and amplitude, but also this is where the artistic side of the sport comes in. The dance movement and the choreography is very important. She's setting up here for her last tumble run, triple twisting, laid out backflip, difficult at the end of a routine. Well done.
Good job by Jamie Dancher. She'll be an 8th grader in the fall. Her uncle got her started in gymnastics, teaching her back handsprings while he was babysitting. Already on the balance beam, Melinda Bainbridge of the West team. One of our talented juniors. She's 12 years old, the youngest female competitor here.
Watch it, 3 layouts in a row. That's hard to do on the floor. He'll run up on 4 inches. Nice full turn, required element. There's a full twisting fish flop. And like the other apparatus, the gymnasts have to have elements of risk, originality, virtuosity. They have to have on balance beam, your main concern is keeping your hips and your shoulders completely square over the beam. There's no margin for error.
This a good event to start on?
It's a tough event to start on. Double back, excellent. What a poised performance for such a young competitor.
Meantime, Jamie Dancher scored a 9.75 for her floor routine. Melinda Bainbridge with a 9.6. And here's Carrie Strug on the floor. This is one of her best events.
She is powerful. Double laid out backflip, dropped out of it. Doesn't look like her ankle was bothering her there.
Julianne, as you mentioned earlier, Carrie was an Olympian in 1992. She was 14 years old, the youngest to represent the United States in Barcelona.
The difference I see in Carrie Carrie as a competitor is the confidence level that she has now. She's a tough competitor. She really rises to the occasion and pulls it out when she needs to. Here comes a front tumbling run. Front full, immediate layout front. They're encouraging front tumbling, so these days you will see a lot more front tumbling, usually in the middle pass.
And why is that?
Well, it was getting a little monotonous. Everybody was performing the same tumbling runs, and they wanted to break it up.
What about Carrie's chances for making the 1996 Olympic team?
She has an excellent chance. I think she's one of the ones that is expected, really, to make the team. Here's a full twisting, tuck double back. There's another front with a full twist.
Nice job by Carrie Strug. We will be back with her score in the second rotation in a moment. Strug leads the competition after scoring a 9-8 on the floor. Heather Brink and Jamie Dansher close behind, and Strug's North team leads the team competition. And in case you're just joining us, one of the favorites here, Christy Powell, had to pull out when she injured her knee in warm-ups. We spoke to her moments ago about what the doctors told her.
I'm not really sure. I don't really understand their technical terms and stuff. But I think it's pretty good right now. I'm just going to focus on World Championship trials and also championships before that.
So how much of a setback will this be for you as you look ahead to the next couple of months? Big competitions coming up.
Well, I'm not really sure yet. I guess I'll find out when I get to the gym on Monday what I can do and how everything's feeling.
How does it feel right now? Are you in much pain?
Yeah, but I'll be okay.
Unfortunately, that wasn't the only injury here in the first rotation. Kinsey Rowe of Houston, Texas, took a nasty fall on her dismount from the beam. She is remarkably still in the competition. Teresa Kolakowski, however, was not as lucky. Earlier in this rotation, she was forced to drop out after a scary fall on the vault. She has a strained neck muscle, but doctors say she should be fine. And speaking of injuries, there's Donnie Thompson, the star of last year's festival, the defending all-around champion, unable to compete this year due to a pulled back muscle. Well, that's our MASH unit report. Now back to the competition. Gail Katura already on the beam.
Performing a nice punch front.
Gail admits to having trouble in this event, Julianne. She says it very simply, I have trouble staying on.
It's a tough event. We call it the psych event in gymnastics because it either makes or breaks your performance. If you have a fall, it's a 5-10 deduction. It's hard to come back into the competition after that. Setting up here for her dismount. 2 back handsprings, double tuck back. Excellent.
Nice job. She was in 10th place after the first rotation, and that should help her move up in the standings. Meantime, the leader, Carrie Strug, getting ready to vault. Gail Katura with a 9.725 on the balance beam. Here's Strug and her first vault.
She'll perform a Yurchenko half twist. Watch the explosion off the horse. That's about as well as that vault can be done. See here, they do a round-up entry, back handspring, and push off the horse. Beautiful laid-out position, just a tiny hop on the landing.
Strug scores a 9.70, and that'll count since she has decided against a second vault, maybe a precaution for that tender ankle. Here's Heather Brink up now on the uneven bars, currently in second place.
Here's a giant full, and here she'll release the bar and do a giant full hop. Right into a Ginger flip, one of the release moves. Giant full twist, setting up for a full twisting double back dismount and a good landing.
Nice performance by Heather Brink. Back over to the vault now, competing for the North team, Vanessa Atler. She is currently tied for 4th.
And this is the vault you rarely see. It's a front with a full twist. Comes
Heather Brink gets her score for the uneven bars, a 9.775. That'll keep her close to the top.
And now the pressure's on Vanessa Atler. She sat down on her first vault. She got good heel drive, but it looks like her shoulders were left behind and she just under-rotated. And now the pressure's on for her to hit this vault.
Well, she scored just a 9.0 on that first vault, and here's her second shot.
Good rotation and a great landing.
And Vanessa Atler rebounds nicely.
Let's see what she did right this time. She got good heel drive again, but her shoulders caught up to it. Good landing.
Vanessa Atler scores a 9.70, so halfway through the competition, Heather Brink has taken the lead. When we return, Peter Vidmar will join us to talk about the men's individual event finals. Welcome back to Boulder, Colorado, and the Coors event. Colorado, Heather Brink of Lincoln, Nebraska leads the women's all-around competition. The South is leading the team competition. Well, it's been brutally hot here in Boulder this week. The Coors Event Center is not air-conditioned. It's been tough on the athletes as well as the crowd. Vanessa Atler has just completed her uneven bars routine. She scores a 9.80, and here's how she got it, Julianne.
This is her release move called a Tkachev. The reason this is so difficult is it's blind. You actually don't see the bar until you fly over. And watch the excellent body position, fully laid out.
Beautiful landing and a great job by the California 13-year-old. A lot of poise out there today. Up next on the uneven bars is Jamie Dancer.
Jamie really swings hard well. Look at the fluid swing she has right into her release move. That's called a pike ganger.
Once again, there are 4 events going on simultaneously. The music that you're hearing is for the floor exercise.
Look how straight her arms are. Good form. Watch this. Double twisting, double back. Incredible.
Dancer was tied for third heading into this rotation. You think this one's going to help her?
I think it definitely should. This is a great bar set. The only thing she is missing is maybe a second release move, but this makes up for it. Double twisting, double back. I can't tell you how difficult that is.
A 9.6 for Jamie Dancer.
Wow, I thought she'd score higher than that.
Meantime, Heather Brink has already begun her work on the balance beam. How's this event for her, Julianne?
Well, Heather says it's not one of her strongest because she's not as flexible as some of the other gymnasts. She's more of a powerful gymnast. There's a full twisting jump. Hangs on to that. That'll be quite a deduction, though.
Heather will be a senior in high school in the fall. She's currently trying to decide which college to attend, Alabama, Utah, and Nebraska, the schools in the running. And, Julianne, you know that any one of those schools would love to have her.
Definitely. Here she's setting up for a dismount, ran off, tuck double back. Good height. Not her best performance. She had good difficulty, but she did have some form breaks and then a major break during that split jump.
Dave and Gloria Brink, Heather's parents, looking relieved that that one's over.
On this full twisting split jump, she doesn't get all the way around, and then her shoulders just are thrown completely out of alignment. It's amazing she stayed on.
So Brink scores a 9.575 on the balance beam, and that opens the door for Carrie Strug to regain the lead. Strug's parents also on hand to support their daughter. They look more nervous than she does. Carrie won the gold in this event at the 1993 festival. She set a festival record with a score of 9.90.
And I think this is her most improved event. A few years ago, she swung very tight, but now she's really swinging well. 1.5 twists, right into that Tkachev move. She's really improved on this.
Oh, a terrific performance. Her parents love it. The crowd loves it. And she looks happy with it as well.
Here's that first release move. Watch the way she whips her heels and she gets good height above the bars. In this dismount, you can see she's flipping and twisting above the bar. That's why she's able to drop out.
And a 9.975 for Carrie Strug. That is a new Olympic Festival record. Alexis Brion now. We mentioned earlier, she's just 12 years old.
And watch this, a double laid-out backflip. Same pass we saw Carrie Strug perform.
You know, as we watch some of these younger athletes out here, we should point out that of the 16 gymnasts on the 1992 Olympic team, 14 of them have competed in Olympic festivals. So you are likely to see some of these youngsters down the road.
There's a pike pull-in. She makes it more difficult by keeping her legs straight. Ahead to a bright future for the U.S. I'm really impressed. Young athletes look. That's usually the problem when they're young.
If she looks little to you, she is. She's just 4'1". Some are calling her the hottest little gymnast out there.
She definitely has a presence on the floor. She's very graceful for a young age. Here's a very difficult whip through triple twist.
Wow. Well, she's not really in the hunt for a medal here. But, boy, we are sure to see a lot from Alexis Brion in the years ahead. A real crowd pleaser. So as we head to the final rotation, Carrie Strug has taken the lead. Vanessa Atler moves up to second.
Emma?
Perhaps some future champions in the stands as well as on the floor. And as we head into the final rotation, Carrie Strug has strengthened her lead. Vanessa Atler is in second. Vanessa will finish up on the beam, and Julianne, that's a tough event to end on.
It really is. It's the most pressure, and there's a very difficult mount to start off with a punch front on. A lot of the gymnasts really go for the easier mounts to get on the beam. Setting up 2 flip-flops. Nice. Laid out 2-footed landing. A little different than you see usually. Here's the required full turn. Little bobble there.
Vanessa used to bring dolls with her because she says she's more confident in her ability. Pretty mature attitude for a 13-year-old.
Well, she looks very comfortable up there. There's a punch front. Well done. There's a half-turn head spin. Really, so far, just a few little form breaks and that one bobble on the turn. There's a nice gainer layout.
Vanessa, once again, currently in second place.
Here's a tuck double back dismount. Big step on the landing. She does it so well because she's so quick.
Vanessa Atler scores just a 9.55 to end her competition, and that gives Carrie Strug some breathing room, but she's got to finish on that high-pressure balance beam. Over to the vault now, and Gail Kachura, she moved up to 4th place in that last rotation.
And this is the Yurchenko with a half twist. It's very difficult to land because it's an outward landing. You can see here she gets good push off the horse, but when the momentum's going forward, it's difficult to stick it.
Kachura had a chance to catch Atler, but scores just a 9.6, so she doesn't do it. Now to the leader, Carrie Strug, on the balance beam. She would have to make major mistakes here to lose the gold, and she has been so consistent so far, Julianne.
She really has, and I think in the last few years, I think going into the balance beam a few years ago would have been a lot more difficult than it is for Carrie now. Here's the key move right here. She has to make this. Back handspring, 2 consecutive layouts. Good job.
Carrie was afraid coming into the competition that she might only be able to compete in 2 events because of her ankle injury, but it doesn't seem to be bothering her at all.
Andrea, I'm amazed. I watched her in workouts before the competition, and she was hurting. She was really struggling. And I think we can attribute it to she's a great competitor. Gainer layout. Now she just has to make the dismount. Tack double back.
Nice job, and Carrie gets a standing ovation from Mom Melanie. Strug showing absolutely no signs of weakness.
And I think this pass was the key to her routine. She was downhill after this. She has to keep her hips completely square to the balance beam. Perfect lining.
Carrie with her new coach, Tom Forster. Last year's champion, Donnie Thompson, also coached by Forster, cheering on her teammate and friend. Here's Heather Brink, currently in 3rd place. She would need a perfect 10 on the floor to tie for the gold in the all-around.
Watch the tremendous height that she gets here. Full twisting double back. Skies it. That was a very impressive first tumbling run, but it's very rare to see a perfect 10 at the Olympic Festival.
Heather would need to score better than a 9.625 to take the silver medal outright.
She's setting up for her second tumbling run. The 1.5 twisting front called a Rudy. Whip through to a layout step out.
Heather, the last gymnast to compete. She doesn't have that 10, does she?
Well, it's a solid performance, but she's lacking a little difficulty comparatively to some of the other athletes. That was a front with a full twist. She really hasn't had any major form breaks, though. She's setting up here for a 2.5 twist. Very hard to land. There's a step out. A strong performance, but not enough to take the gold.
A golden moment, though, for Heather's parents. They are very proud of their daughter's efforts here, and a great way to end the competition. Won't be enough, though, to catch Carrie Strug. She will go home with the gold. And there's the score for Heather Brink, a 9.825. So here are our final standings. Carrie Strug on top, followed by Heather Brink, and 13-year-old Vanessa Atler takes home the bronze. Peter Vidmar is standing by with the champion.
Well, Carrie, it was doubtful that you were even going to compete. Now you find yourself in the victory stand. One tough competitor. How did the ankle feel during the competition?
Well, since you have a lot of adrenaline, you don't really feel it as much. But, yeah, I was a little bit worried yesterday because I just injured it, and they weren't sure. They said it was my call if I were to compete or not. But
in the team competition, the East team takes home the gold. So for Julianne McNamara and Peter Vidmar, I'm Andrea Joyce saying so long from Boulder.
Still the...
In a moment, a look at the women's competition. U.S. champion Dominique Dawes